Boruto 2019 awards. All right, guys, this video took a very long time to make, man, because I was a little bit sick for last week. But regardless, this is gonna be a very fun video to make, and hopefully it's gonna be a very fun video to watch as well. Now, the awards are gonna be on the screen right now. Some of the winners are going to be manga-based winners, and some of the winners are gonna be anime-based winners. Some of the awards might have both. For example, fight of the year, I'm gonna give an anime fight. I'm gonna also give a manga fight. So if you guys are kind of weary about spoilers in terms of the manga, just proceed with caution, especially for the first award that I am going to give out, which is Rookie of the Year. I have to give it to a character that we've pretty much been introduced to in 2018, but in 2019 it was the first time we really seen this character fight, and it's going to be Jigen slash Iishiki Otsutsuki. Now, the fight scene that he was in, it's arguably top 5 of all time. Like, literally, it was that good in terms of manga based fighting, top 5 of all time. Now, it's not just because he was just so strong. If you guys know, he pretty much fought against two of the god level characters, the strongest beings in Boruto period, which is Naruto and Sasuke that we know of. He pretty much fought against them and pretty much handled them. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything too crazy, but that fight right there absolutely showed how strong Jigen actually is. Now, it's not just about how strong Jigen is, how fast Jigen is, it's the overall impact of Jigen in general. In 2019, just about Jigen, we got to figure out a lot of information about not only the Otsutsuki clan, but also the Karma Seal, which is going to be very big focal points in the overall series and overall story of Boruto going forward. So just off of the sheer impact and entertainment level, if you guys are going to agree with Jigen actually being qualified as a rookie, I think it's a no-brainer to put him as Rookie of the Year for 2019. He was just so great in this year. The next award is going to be Most Improved Player. Now, I understand that these characters are not players, but I watch a lot of NFL and I watch a lot of NBA, so naturally I'm going to call this Most Improved Player, mainly because if I don't, I'm going to slip up a lot of times, and I don't feel like editing all the times that I do say Most Improved Player and just change the Most Improved Character. That's just not me. But the Most Improved Player for 2019, in my opinion, has to be Sarada Uchiha. Now, in 2018, Sarada Uchiha was a disappointment. Now, I don't necessarily want to say that she was the biggest disappointment, because we do have characters like Konohamaru floating around. A lot of people made videos talking about how Sarada deserved a lot more screen time, and it wasn't just about the anime, it was also about the manga as well. The biggest thing for Sarada, and one of the more disappointing things about Sarada, especially in the manga, is the fact that she was in the manga, it's just that she didn't really have a big role in the manga. For example, in 2018, if you guys don't necessarily remember, that was pretty much the year when we fought against Ao, which is Team 7 versus Ao. Of course, Sarada was also in that fight, Team 7 versus Kashi Koji. Sarada was also in that fight. Particularly talking about Sarada, she never really made an imprint or impact in that year period. Like, all the fights, she never really did anything. One of the biggest parts and one of the most telling parts about her involvement, she never even activated her Sharingan in 2018 in the manga. That right there just shows everything. And in 2019 in the manga, right now, she's showing her 3 Tomo Sharingan, and she's pretty much the leader of the new Team 7. Like, people are pretty much ousting Konohamaru and saying like, hey, Sarada's the leader of arguably the strongest genin group that we've ever seen before, being Mitsuki, Boruto, and Kawaki. Sarada in the manga right now is definitely showing that she has the potential to possibly be the next Hokage. Now, it's particularly talking about the anime. This wasn't really the writer's fault, man, because we understood that there were set things in the Boruto anime that we needed to cover, and Sarada just was not in the plans. One of the biggest things being was the tuning exam. Now, we understood that the tuning exam was going to revolve mostly around Boruto, Naruto, and also some Otsutsuki members. Now, no one had a problem with that. That's why I can't necessarily blame the Boruto writers for kind of phasing Sarada out of that whole entire year. Now, I do want to point this out. Sarada did have some very good moments in that year. I'm not saying that she was completely non-existent. For example, some of the rounds versus some other games, she did show that she was extremely strong, but as I said earlier, let's not kid ourselves. We understand what the tuning exam was for and who the tuning exam was really supposed to showcase, and they did exactly that. Now, after the tuning exam, what we got to see was Mitsuki's arc. This was the arc where Mitsuki kind of went rogue, and in that arc, Sarada was really like to tag along with Boruto. It was really about Boruto and Mitsuki, and she wasn't necessarily the main focal point of any of the episodes. I do want to point out that she did have some very good parts in that arc. The parts where she was really good, it started in 2019. The Mitsuki arc pretty much overlapped from 2018 to 2019. Literally, the second episode in 2019, Sarada pulled off a crazy move where she pretty much put herself under a genjutsu to break out of the genjutsu casted by a synthetic human being, which her name was Kirara, and then in turn basically saved Boruto in her own life. Now, not only that, the highlight of 2019 was of course the novels being adapted, and she in that also had a whole episode onto herself. There's also the Jugo arc where she played a huge role in that as well, and just overall her skills were showcased a lot more in 2019 than it was in 2018. The next award is going to be the only negative award that I do have in this video. Is going to be disappointment of the year. Now the disappointment of the year is going to have to go to Konohamaru. Now we understand why it's going to be Konohamaru. We pretty much all felt that Konohamaru was supposed to be a Kage level character, but it's just not looking up for Konohamaru as of right now. It's looking like Konohamaru is just another fodder character that doesn't really have any drive to be anything great. Even though he talks about being the Hokage, he doesn't necessarily show it in what he actually does. For example, one of the arcs that was extremely strong was the Mitsuki arc. We understood that Konohamaru went covert, he went undercover to the Hidden Stone Village and probably tried to help out in the Mitsuki arc, but it just never came through to fruition. It's like he stayed in the shadows until everything was done. With Lord Ku, which was the main enemy of the whole thing, he was pretty much rampaging and almost killed everybody in Team 7, and Konohamaru just sitting back watching everything go down. It's like Konohamaru never felt the urge and the need to take leadership in the situation, even though he understood that majority of his characters, or pretty much all of his students, were probably going to die to this Kage level character named Lord Ku that's going crazy and slapping around Sage Mitsuki like he was a doll. But enough of bashing Konohamaru, even though I have been bashing him for like the past 2 minutes. Now the next award is going to be Arc of the Year, and it's going to be very controversial to a lot of you guys, man, because some of you guys really did not like this arc. Now in my opinion, the arc didn't really perform, but it was definitely the best arc of the year, and it has to be the Urashiki arc slash the Boyhood arc with Boruto and Naruto pretty much meeting up in the past. This arc had so much potential to be great. Regardless, it was the best. Not only did it have a whole Otsutsuki member, which was the main enemy of the whole arc, but Boruto went back in time along with Sasuke to meet up with Naruto and everybody else while they were getting. This was the first time that time travel was really implemented in the Naruto series. It was so insane that when it was first announced, majority of the Boruto fanbase, like 90% of the Boruto fanbase, thought that this was going to be for sure a filler arc, but it turned out to be canon. Not only was it very entertaining, but it's going to be overall extremely impactful to the overall character of Boruto, seeing the struggles and the plight that Naruto had to go through while he was younger. Now the next award is going to be Fight of the Year. Now I have an anime fight and I also have a manga fight. The first one, of course, is going to be the anime fight. It's going to be piggybacking off of the arc of the year. It's going to have to be Urashiki versus Naruto, Boruto, Jiraiya, and Sasuke. It's the best, but I thought it should have been better. But regardless, that fight had the strongest enemy of 2019, animated the best. The art style was absolutely impeccable in that last episode, and of course it did feature some of the best characters in all of the series, which is Naruto and Boruto fighting hand in hand and showing off a father and son Rasengan, which was absolutely insane to end everything off. Just the overall impact and the overall allure of the fight in itself has to make it the best fight of 2019. Now manga wise, it has to be Jigen versus Naruto and Sasuke. I spoke about it earlier, arguably a top 5 fight in all of the series. It was just that good, and if I were to recommend anything to you guys in terms of manga, that fight right there has to be it. If you guys missed Naruto and Sasuke fighting together hand in hand, like the last time we really seen that happen was against Momoshiki back in episode 65, this right here is almost like that, but Jigen is like almost 10 times stronger than Momoshiki. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but Jigen is just that strong and just that good, and because of that, he pushed Naruto and Sasuke to a different level. Now the next one is going to have to be Episode of the Year. Now Episode of the Year, in my opinion, it has to be episode 130, and it's not necessarily because it had like the best fight. It was just the most entertaining episode of the whole year. This episode is really about Boruto and Sasuke meeting everybody from the previous generation, being Naruto, Neji, and everybody else like that. This episode was probably like one of the most anticipated episodes of 2019, and I don't necessarily want to say it didn't disappoint, but it was definitely what we were all waiting for. I really did like the controversy it caused. A lot of the Naruto purists were absolutely pissed that time travel was being implemented, and of course the people that really loved Boruto, we understood the impact and why it was so great that Naruto got to meet Boruto while they were children. All right, now chapter of the year, in my opinion, has to be chapter 36. This is the chapter where Jigen just pulls up into Naruto's living room while Naruto is pretty much drinking and sipping some wine, and he's just chilling out, and Kawaki's chilling out, and everybody's just chilling out, but Jigen just pulls up into Naruto's living room, pretty much told him like, yo, I'm taking Kawaki, and by the way, I'm sorry for having my shoes on. And it was just so insane Jigen, seeing everything happen extremely quickly. What we understood in the previous chapter was that Jigen was going to have to pull up on Naruto to take away Kawaki, but we didn't know it was going to happen like that. And not only that, we pretty much seen Jigen and Naruto have a little bit of a fight right then and there. Now, if that right there wasn't crazy enough that Jigen just popped up in Naruto's living room, we got to see the second stage of the karma seal from Kawaki himself. And that right there in itself was just extremely crazy. It provided a lot of controversy. A lot of the fans were up in arms, and in my opinion, I just think this was definitely the most well-received chapter out of all of the chapters in 2019. A lot of people were extremely hyped about this, mainly because it was just so surprising to see Jigen just pull up to Naruto just like that, and also the second stage of the karma seal from Kawaki just pop up out of nowhere. Now, the last award that I'm going to give out for this video is going to be MVP, Most Valuable Player of 2019, or some of you guys are probably going to be sticklers, Most Valuable Character of 2019, but MVP was a toss-up in my opinion. Probably one of the hardest decisions that I had to make in this video. It was either between Jigen, Naruto, and Sasuke, and just for anime purposes, I had to go with Sasuke just to get the manga out of the way. Sasuke is pretty much the person that saved Naruto's life. Like, if I was going to say that Naruto's going to be the MVP, it was going to be a little bit short-sighted, seeing as how Naruto pretty much got his life saved by another contestant. Naruto was probably going to be left in a different dimension. No one was going to be able to find him. The only reason why he wasn't left there was because Sasuke tracked Jigen down, so he found Naruto, and them two right then and there just got right with Jigen. Now, as I said, if Sasuke never pulls up, they never know where Naruto is, and Naruto's most likely going to be stuck there for the rest of his life. Now, some of you guys might say, hey, the ending result was absolutely similar. Sasuke is nowhere to be found. Sasuke is extremely injured. Naruto's still stuck into another dimension, and of course Jigen is off scot-free. But here's the thing, Sasuke now knows where Naruto is. If Sasuke never followed Jigen into that time space, Sasuke never knows where Naruto is, and Naruto would just be stuck there for the rest of his life. And not only that, Sasuke gathered up a boatload of information about not only the karma seal, but also a lot of the Otsutsuki members that we pretty much have already seen and are probably going to see in the near future in Boruto. Now, of course, I don't necessarily want to spoil a whole lot for you guys. Now, in terms of the anime, as I said, the biggest arc of 2019 in the anime had to be the Urashiki arc, and that arc would have pretty much been nothing. It would have been over in 2 seconds if Sasuke wasn't there. Sasuke was the first person to make contact with Urashiki. Sasuke was also the reason why they were able to go back in time and present us with that beautiful experience of Naruto meeting Boruto while they were kids. And not only that, Sasuke was the guy pretty much making up a master plan and them pretty much beating Urashiki. Now, I do want to give a lot of props to Jiraiya as well. Jiraiya definitely did help out Boruto and Naruto, making them do the Team Rasengan or the Father and Rasengan. So I had to give Sasuke the MVP off of that. And not only that, one of the best arcs in 2019 had to be the Jugo arc, and we all know the impact that Sasuke had on Jugo. The reason why we pretty much got the Jugo arc is pretty much because Sasuke kind of maintained and pretty much protected Jugo all of Naruto Shippuden. So regardless, most of you guys are probably going to have some disagreements about what I did say and all the winners that I did list, and I definitely do want to know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. I think that MVP is probably going to be one of the more contested answers, mainly because Naruto definitely has a case, Jigen definitely has a case, and not only that, Boruto also has a case as well. But it's been your boy Baara B, and we out.
Check my clock, I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols. Reaming my body, clothing no issue. Bitch, you look sick, you need a tissue. You drop a body, I just might bless you. I'm metrosexual, no high cholesterol. Where's Jenny Craig? Bitch, just get sexual.